Hi everyone, I hope you're all doing awesome. Today I want to talk a bit about WARNO Let Loose. This is a balance modification for WARNO. There are lots of mods for WARNO, but there are limits to what can be done with them so far, and this is a very special balance mod, and I'll go into that in a bit more detail very shortly. First, I just want to click this other window, and yes, I'm using my browser today because I'm just showing you a lot of different stuff, and this was the easiest way to do it. But basically, one of the things coming up this weekend is the 4th SDL fundraising tournament for Action Against Hunger. You'll remember this happened last year. It covers SD2, still Division 2, on Saturday 27th, and then on the Sunday, it'll be WARNO's day. There's a couple of tournaments going on both days. I'll leave links to details about that down below in the description. Please do remember to check that out. Please come and watch the streams. I'll try and stream some. Protoss will definitely be streaming over on SDLeague. I'm sure some other casters will be as well. So please do try and get involved. Even if you can't donate, donating your time to come and watch means that other people will come and watch and potentially donate. Last year, we raised $2,100. That is a lot of money to go to this charity. And they work all over the world, so it's a really good cause. So again, I would encourage everyone to come along this weekend and get involved with that. Okay, back to WARNO Let Loose. So, WARNO Let Loose is curated and basically made by Nalyd, who is one of the admins, I guess, over on WarYes, who run a lot of the tournaments and things outside of SDLeague. Now, his balance mod is based on changes he would like to see in the game and that he has discussed with other people, and he's also a member of the strike team. And this is an opportunity for him to test various balance changes and then give feedback to Eugen on the changes that he's thinking about. Because obviously Eugen won't probably implement every change that anyone suggests, and therefore this is an opportunity to test things and get feedback from everybody, not just strike team. So if you download this and give it a go and have a look through all the changes, you can give feedback as well. And Nalyd is very keen on feedback, be that on the Steam page for it, which I will leave a link to down below, or be that in the comments on my video over on their Discord. There's plenty of places you can leave feedback, and I'm sure he will have a look at it all. Now, the reason we're talking about WARNO Let Loose is because there is a tournament coming up. It is a 1v1 weekend tournament. It's an opportunity to show off WARNO Let Loose and really put it through its paces with all of these changes. Let's have a quick look at that. So, these are the instructions. I will leave a link to this down below and details about the tournament. You can have a look through it all there. It's just general rules for the tournament. What is the exciting thing about this? It's a standard 1v1 tournament. It's happening on a weekend, and yes, there are still spaces, I believe, so please do go and sign up if you're interested. The exciting thing is this. Yes, we're over on Matcherino, and yes, this is a prize tournament. People can obviously donate to the cash prize, but there's currently already $200 in there. First place will get $160, and second place will get $40. So you're going to have to be playing well to get there, but there's always that chance. Obviously, there is still time to donate and increase the cash prize here, and obviously it's Matcherino, so usually there's things you can click on down the side to add pennies, pounds, dollars, whatever is available. So please do feel free to pop along there and get involved as well. If you'd like to sign up to the tournament, obviously, again, I will put the details down below in the description of the video, and you can go down there and sign up. You'll have to join the Discord and all of that. The rules are on there. But that's one of the reasons we're taking a look at this today. Now that we've talked about money and the fact there's a prize, I'm sure you're all a lot more excited. So, let's close this. What I want to do now is just have a little look at the changes. So we're going to go through them and discuss them a little bit, because I think it's important to see what the changes are. Now, Nalyd is a very experienced player, and he's obviously got advice from other very experienced players and, you know, various people in the community looking at how these changes can be implemented. And obviously they're not finalized. These are all things that are constantly changing, so make sure you go and give it a go. So let's have a quick look at the patch notes. So small arms, all 9mm, so your little SMGs, have had their HE damage reduced and their suppression reduced, which is reasonable. I think they still probably have the damage increase as they get closer to the enemy, so I'm sure many of you will be aware that if you have an SMG in your troops, then the closer they are to the enemy, the more damage they do. All 5.56mm weapons have gone from 0.05 to 0.04, and all 7.62s have gone from 0.06 to 0.0475. So just a little bit of reduction in the damage output of infantry. And I think this is all about increasing the time to kill, so making infantry survive a little bit longer. Machine guns, again, have been altered. Their damage has been increased, is the difference. So all 5.56mm machine guns have had their damage increased from 0.09 to 0.15, and suppression has been reduced, and splash radius has been reduced. 7.62s again have had their damage increased from 0.108 to 0.165, but again have had their suppression and splash radius reduced. So this is making these machine guns doing more damage, but reducing their suppression capabilities. All vehicle 7.62mm machine guns have had their ranges increased against ground and helo units, just to make them a little bit more effective at a longer range. Now, tripods, they've removed sorting shots for all tripods. I don't actually fully know what that means. So if anyone does know, please feel free to let me know down in the comments. I'm sure Nalyd will. Reduce the splash radius of grenade launchers from 6 to 2 meters for Soviet and from 8 to 3 meters US. Grenade launchers are quite strong if they're used effectively at quite a long range, and they do a lot of suppression damage, so that's probably quite reasonable to reduce that a little bit. Remove splash radius from machine guns. Fair enough. Change damage profile from HE autocannon to FM Ballet. I don't really know what that means, but that's internal code, so it's changing the damage profile basically. And then removed accuracy scaling for all tripod on par with infantry machine guns. Sniper, bolt action aim time is increased from 5 to 6 seconds, reload time increased from 5 to 8 seconds, and range has been decreased by 175 meters, and semi-auto range has been decreased by 350 meters. Again, just little balance changes. Flamethrower damage has been reduced from 1.4 to 0.6. Again, this looks to be aimed at increasing infantry time to kill, so they just last a little bit longer in a fight. Hand-flam patron, the same, 0.35 down to 0.2. Flash from 0.66 to 0.4. AGI, 0.4 to 0.3. RPO, 0.93 to 0.5. Satchel damage reduced from 2 to 1. Satchels are very strong still. I wonder if they're making it... They don't say here they're making satchels fire on the move again, but maybe they have. Satchel suppression increased from 50 to 300, so that's pretty good. So satchels will do massive suppression damage. And then the M67 recoilless rifle has been reduced from 0.9 to 0.6. Well, yeah, those, you know, they're technically anti-vehicle weapons, and they have been used very effectively against infantry for a long time, so I'm not surprised to see that change. Anti-tank, all infantry AT suppression has been increased by 250%, excluding the recoilless rifle. Fair enough. All AT splash suppression radius increased by 10%. All AT splash damage radius removed to prevent multi-kills. Okay. So basically, one anti-tank shot will only kill one vehicle. It cannot kill multiple at once. I think that's rare that happened, but I guess it maybe did happen from time to time. Drastically increased the crit rate of infantry anti-tank weapons, except the recoilless rifles, from 5.5 to 70%. That's a big increase in crit rate. So that really makes anti-tank weaponry a lot more powerful. Reduced and compressed AT range from 500, 675 and 850 meters, depending on the weapon, to 500, 600 and 700. Oh, that's painful. The only exception is the RPG-29, which will remain at 850. Increase the accuracy by 10% for the 600-meter anti-tank. And 20% for the 700-meter to compensate for the range loss. Okay. That's quite a nice increase as well, you know. Not a small amount of increase. Anti-air missiles increase time between shots from 3 to 8 seconds for the Buck, Cub, and Eyehawk. Ooh. That really is a big nerf for those. You're going to need multiple to take out an aircraft. Increase the time between shots from 2 seconds to 3 seconds for all short medium range missile AA. Increase reload time from 2 to 3 seconds for all plane AA missiles. I don't know about that one. I'll have to see how it plays out in the game. I'm always a bit funny about aircraft in this game and anti-air and how they interact, because it's nowhere near as good as War Game. Let's not beat around the bush. And I feel like sometimes anti-air already struggles against aircraft, and vice versa. I think it's a difficult one to balance. All missiles, stress on miss feature added from both ground and air missiles. So high-end anti-air missiles have better suppression effect. So basically, all missiles will cause stress on when they miss. So if a TOW-2 misses its target but explodes next to it, it's going to cause some stress for the vehicle it was aimed at. Anti-air guns, increased minimal accuracy for anti-air guns to 20%. Static, increased ground range from AAG by 175 meters, and increased aim time from 2 to 2.5 seconds for non-radar AAG. I mean, the anti-air guns are a bit of a funny thing anyway. Maybe this will make them more worthwhile. ATGMs, increased reload time from 5 to 6 seconds. Maybe. Increased missile speed by 10% though. That's a nice buff. Reload time, I guess, to adjust for that. Seed, increased missile speed to match with anti-air missile speed. Increased reload time from 2 to 3 seconds. Detection range for Seed increased. Yeah, I mean, basically increasing it to beyond the Buck range. Which is reasonable. You know, it should be able to see these at a longer range than they can fire. Otherwise, there's no point to Seed. Tank gun reduced suppression by 10%. Fair enough. Rockets increased dispersion by 15%. Increased suppression by 15%. Reduced damage between 3 and 8%. That's fair. I mean, rockets are very, very strong. Let's be honest. Those helos with rocket launchers or rocket pods can be absolutely devastating. Compare that to Wargame Red Dragon. They had a massive dispersion. They weren't very accurate. Plane cannons increased damage. Oh, that's interesting. So increased damage of 20 and 23mm, decreased damage of 25, 27 and 30mm. I suppose it brings them more in line, maybe? Because it was a big jump from 23 to 25. That was a huge jump, actually, wasn't it? Look at that. Bombing increased cluster splash stress by 10%. Reasonable. Splash radius for HE by 3%. HE stress damage radius by 10%. Not bad. Autocannons decreased damage of all of them. They have been quite strong for a while now. Maybe that's a good thing. I wonder if they're still very good at stun-locking infantry, though. So, over onto vehicles. Aeroplanes added dispersion, malus on stress. Reduced all plane speed by 20%, except the Su-25 and A-10, which are already very slow. Increased all plane turn rate by 30%, except the Su-25 and A-10. Harrier got preferential treatment with minus 13% speed and 68% turn. Hallelujah, they fixed the Harrier! Because Eugene made the Harrier hot garbage in this game. And it wasn't that bad in real life. I'm really pleased to see that. Thank you for fixing the Harrier. I can't wait to try that in game. The Su-27 got preferential treatment. It takes the same time to do a 180 as the F-15 Eagle, but with a sharper turn. Increased the ECM of all planes by 10% with a ceiling of 60%. Okay, so making them last a bit longer. I always worry about aircraft and how strong they can be. Increased laser guided bomb accuracy from 50 to 75. I mean, that's reasonable. It's a laser guided bomb. Technically, it should be pretty darn accurate. Increased airplane air optics. Yeah. Increased the Nighthawk stealth to compensate. Yeah. Increased the Nighthawk bomb noise by the same amount. Yeah. Reduce dispersion radius on laser guided bombs. Yeah, that's reasonable. It's a laser guided bomb at the end of the day. It should be pretty accurate. Increased autonomy by 100 seconds for all planes to allow patrolling. Increased all fighter altitude by around 350 meters. Less vulnerable to anti-air. Yeah, I mean, they're fighters. They would be trying to stay out of anti-air range. Planes now evac by flying in the sky until they reach the evac ceiling after 15 seconds. Yeah, that makes sense. Evac ceiling set at 4,300 meters. Increase the aim time of a plane AA missile from 0 to 0.5 seconds, except for the Vampel on the Mi-24 to prevent snapshots. Can we do that for the A-10 against ground as well, please? Because that thing just can turn and pick off vehicles as it's not even aiming at them anymore. It's kind of crazy how fast that can target stuff. Remove low-flying tactic after dropping bombs for dive bombers. Change damage profile from helo to plane to dissociate changes from one another. Armor less than 112. Not entirely sure about that one either. That one's got me confused. Gun cannons. Spag. AA missiles. Is this the damage based on armor? I think this is the damage based on armor then. That's what it's getting at there. Helo reduced armor resistance against Spag. Oh, okay. So helos take more damage, basically. Okay. Towed AT. So AT guns, I guess. Change damage profile from vehicle to cannon to prevent them being targeted with anti-tank weapons. Yeah, okay. Reduce HP from 8 to 3 and from 5 to 2. Fine, I guess that's... If they're no longer a vehicle and they're a cannon, then maybe that's reasonable. Amphibious, decreased speed for wheelbase vehicles. Ah, so I think they will now be faster in the water, basically. Experience, suppression regen. Ooh. So basically, massively improving suppression regen depending on veterancy level. So look at the difference in time there. So that was previously 0, I guess. Or it's staying at 0.5, I'm not sure. But anyhow, it takes a long time. Vet 1 will be 5 minutes instead of 8. Vet 2 will be 3 minutes instead of 4. And Vet 3 will be 2 minutes instead of 4. So yeah, good reasons to have Vet 3 units. Cohesion, ground units high. Rotation speed 10% to 0. Turret rotation 10% to 0. Okay, so basically they don't get a bonus anymore. So previously if they were high, they got a bonus to their turret rotation speed and their general rotation speed, and this will remove that. Normal accuracy will be reduced by 20% instead of 25%. Mediocre. Okay, so basically it's making it so lowering cohesion isn't quite as bad as it was. It doesn't completely take you out of the fight, necessarily. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Okay, just all missiles, as was mentioned above. Stress on miss feature added from both ground and air missiles. High-end AA missiles have better suppression effect. That's a pretty nice change. Just, again, it means that the missile, even if it misses, at least is doing something. Because you are going to panic a bit if you're in a tank and a Tor-2 comes at you, and even if it misses you by a couple of millimeters. Critical removed. Bailout critical. So basically, you know, when you get critical hits on your tanks and people bail out and this, that, and the other happen, well, they've removed the bailout critical, so no one will now bail out of their vehicle. Added shooter KO, driver KO, sight damage, transmission damage crit, increased crit rate in general from 5.5 to 7%. Okay, so basically, I wonder how that affects... I need to test that in game. So the shooter KO means that it's not going to fire anymore. The driver means it's probably not going to move. Sight damage means it can't fire as well, I guess. And transmission damaged, I don't know. I have mixed feelings about criticals because RNG in this game is already a nightmare. But we'll see how that plays out. Traits, so shock, increased activation radius from 53 meters to 350 meters for forest fighting range. Removes suppression aura effect. Buildings, ruins can now be used in the same way as buildings with reduced damage resistance. So instead of just standing randomly in ruins, you will now be inside the ruins like they're still a building. Rebalancing of smoke thickness from vision, 70 meters in smoke and blocked outside to... Don't fully follow that. Don't fully follow that. Is that suggesting that to not be visible, a heavy unit has to be 176 meters inside the smoke? Medium has to be 186 and light has to be 196? But then there it says block vision over 1000 meters? Or is that the type of smoke thickness? Confused by that one, Nalyd. You might have to explain that one to me. Supplies, fuel resupply speed reduced from 30 seconds to 20 seconds. And fuel resupply cost reduced from 5 per second to 0.5. Hallelujah. Fuel shouldn't be as expensive as it is. Especially when you can't disable it. So that is a nice change. Bug fixes, suppression, UI, and cohesion effect bug fixed. Units get max suppression when unloading from a wrecked helo. Hallelujah. So if your helo is destroyed and the guys survive, there will be maximum on suppression. So they're stuffed, basically. They don't get out and instantly turn around and fire a rocket launcher at the anti-air vehicle and kill it. Known bugs. Plain stress UI doesn't refresh when they come back to base. It's just a visual thing. And only one crit effect is displayed at a time on the UI. Again, it's only visual. But there could be more than one crit effect then. So there you go. So that's all the changes. Let's hop in the game and I'll quickly show you how to enable this. So the first thing you need to do is go into Steam, find it, and hit subscribe. And you get a little tick, and then let's head in the game and I'll show you how to enable this. Okay, so we're in game. Really simple to enable this. Once you subscribe to it, it will automatically download. It's not a big download. Hit this little mod button in the middle of the screen on the main menu, and you'll see the mods that you subscribe to. Nuclear artillery is a completely different matter, and we'll talk about that another time. But there's WARNO let loose. We hit activate, and we click apply. And we'll relaunch the game, and then I'll get back to you once we've relaunched. There we go. We're back in the game. Nothing has really changed here. But now there will be completely different stats on units. That is what you'll see. That will be the difference. So we should see better ECM on everything. So I can't even think off the top of my head. What is the F-15C? Usually ECM is now 50%. I think it's 30. Is it normally, or 40? Nighthawk has its amazing stealth. And accuracy is increased to 75%. I think it's normally less than that on the laser guided bombs. I think that's one of the increases that we just talked about. Yeah, laser guided bombs up to 75%. So you can see that that's the changes here that have been made. And obviously a lot of it is in game. But if let's boot up a random solo game. So let me hit skirmish. I'm just going to get rid of these guys. I don't care about them. I just want me. I'm going to be... Oh, I have to use one of the random ones because I don't have any built in this version of the game with the mod pack, but that's fine. I'm just going to select something that will probably have artillery. Let's have a quick look. That'll do. It's got bombers. It doesn't have any good bombers. You got anything with really good bombers? Oh, there's Harriers in this. Let's take that. Let's take the British because I've got the Harriers. I'm just going to launch. So basically all I want to do is have a look at the buildings, and then We'll have a look at the Harrier as well. So, really simple. I'm just going to bring in some artillery. These guys. Let's just bring them all in. And we're just going to flatten some buildings. Let's bring in some aircraft. So, Harriers, Tornado, Harrier. There we go. And we spent all our money, so we'll just launch the battle. I'm just going to select those. We'll just... hang on. I need to unload these guys. Select all of these. All I'm going to do is destroy a building. That one will do nicely. Let's get some infantry in. Couple of arm rifle guys. There we go. Let's get Tornado in. Have a quick look at it, because apparently these will be slower now. Let's see if it's noticeably slower. 20% decrease in speed. But the Harrier should be better, so let's bring a Harrier in as well. It does probably look a bit slower, doesn't it? It seems slower. Turns quite nicely as well. I think that's an improvement. Let's have a look at the Harrier. Oh, the Harrier can turn now. The Harrier can turn. Let's flatten that building. Go on, let's watch the Harrier turn for an attack run. That is so much better for the Harrier. Thank you for fixing the Harrier. If nothing else in this mod, I'm happy about that. Very nice. Still got rockets left. Right, the building is destroyed, but you can select it, okay? And then we're just gonna just evac that. I'm just gonna get these guys over here. I just want to see how the infantry work in the building, and just make sure it works with every building.
What are your orders, sir? Second platoon, ready, sir.
Multiple squads go in, is the question. Look at that. Awesome. And to give us the details on... You used to be able to hover over stuff, and you eventually got a little window up. There you go. 90% protection. So if I leave it there for a few to tell me. It still says bonus in 90%, but that's not true. It's less. It's less once it's destroyed. But that's great. That's one of the things we would have loved to see for a long time, I think. Just to make the destroyed buildings have a point. So, some good changes there. Nothing particularly special in this deck to show off, really. That's really all I wanted to cover. It was more about just showing off those few little things to prove that the mod is working and enabled. It's on the Steam Workshop. Go subscribe, download it, enable it, play it. Against the AI, multiplayer, whatever you fancy. If you're wanting to get some multiplayer games and you don't have friends to play with, that will download it as well. Head on over to the WarYes Discord. I will put a link down below in the description. You can join over there and ask if people want to play the mod. There will be other people who have the mod on there as well. And then you can pull it through its paces and see what you think of the changes. And feedback is always welcome. Thanks for watching, everyone. Please do like, share, subscribe. Remember, this weekend is the charity tournament with SDLeague for SD2 and WARNO. Saturday for SD2, Sunday for WARNO. And then the week after, it's going to be this tournament for the WARNO Let Loose Balance mod. And you can get involved with that as well. Again, links down below in the description, guys. Please do get involved. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all soon.